Good morning, it's Sheri, Israel. It's 5 a.m. and I'm about to go drive 4 hours to get to an endurance ride. I'm whispering because everybody else is still asleep. But I gotta start early because these endurance rides start early, especially in the summer when it's hot. So they'll start the race before I get there while I'm driving. But if I'm lucky, I'll get there in time to see the first person cross the finish line on the ride that's going on today. So, see you there.
So endurance is all about camping out with your horse if it's a multiple day ride, or I guess if it's even a one-day ride, because they start really early in the morning. So you show up, you pitch a tent, you put a temporary enclosure right around where your trailer is, and the horses camp out with you. And everybody seems to be pretty calm and happy, although missing their trail ride buddies. But it looks like a lot of fun. So here we are. These are the front runners of the race. They're coming in right now. Now this is a limited distance ride, which means that there's a maximum time allowed for the 25 miles. But instead of it being a race to see the first one that finishes, it's a race to see which horse can finish the race and then get their pulse down to, I believe it's 62 beats per minute. And so she's going to get off and walk her horse the rest of the way because she's ahead of the next gal. So they're going to check in with the timer, and then they'll do the vet check. And as soon as the horse's pulse gets down to 62, their time will officially end. And whoever's horse gets down to 62 first will be the winner. First place horse, and here's a second place horse, stopping at the timer. So what they're going to do is immediately untack the horse because they want him to cool off, get his pulse down. What they're looking for here is grade 1 or grade 2 lameness is okay because the horse just went 25 miles, so being a little sore is okay, but a grade 3 lameness, they're really lame, would not be acceptable. I'm checking gum refill right there. Checking skin, make sure he's not dehydrated. Checking his back.
Well, the fact that she'll pony was racehorses and a mare to begin with. Yeah.
Checking for gut sounds.
I am here today with Kelly Moore. She just finished an endurance ride of 25 miles at the Scioto Run Ride? Trails, yes. And so, Kelly.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So can you explain to me what endurance is?
In my mind, when I think of endurance, it's a predetermined amount of trails that we ride on, anywhere from 25 miles to 100 miles, varying in different things and terrain throughout the day and depending on where you ride. This trail is very technical, lots of up and down hills. There is a mountain or big hill that we go up for 1.5 miles almost straight up. So it just depends on where you are as to what different things you're going to run into.
Okay, and so I know from being here earlier today that there's vet checks.
Yes, actually we start the day ahead normally. We check in with our ride manager and then we go through an actual vet check first. Our horse has to be able to actually make it on the trail with a predetermined heart rate of 60 to even go out in the morning. So then in the morning we saddle up. Normally we're up 2 hours before the ride. This morning it was 6:30 we left. We were up at 4:30 feeding our horses, getting prepared for the day, packing our saddle packs with things for us to drink, maybe treats or electrolytes for our horses. We'll go out, say the 25 miles, we go out for 12 miles, come back in for a vet check. We have to be fit to continue, predetermined by the vet. Pulse rates, we trot out, trot back. we can go back out. Then we come back in after that trail, maybe another 12 miles or so. And again, we have to meet criteria, 60 pulse, go back through our vet check, and then hopefully you complete.
So today they told me that it was a limited distance ride, which is different from a regular endurance race.
Basically the only difference is the mileage. Anything under 30 and below is limited distance. Anything over that is an endurance ride. So to me they're the same, it's just smaller distance.
Okay. And they were also saying that with the bigger rides, it's the first person who crosses the finish line and then have their horses pass the vet check. But for the ride you did, it was a little bit different.
No, actually for our ride, the limited distance, you always come across and whoever's pulse comes down to the criteria, which was 60 today, they win. For an endurance ride, the first one across, again, anything over 30 miles and higher, anyone who crosses the finish line first is the one that wins.
Okay.
So you have an hour with the endurance 30 and above to get your pulse down to the criteria.
Okay. And then we saw the 2 vets that were on site. And,
Right.
And I saw you and your horse come in, and then you untacked and you sponged him off, and you tried to cool him down and get his heart rate down, but it didn't quite work out.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out for me today. This horse's only second ride. He is 8 years old, probably not in as good of condition as I would have liked him to be for these trails. Trails are, like I said earlier, very technical, very tough, lots of uphills and downhills. And if your horses don't have those muscles conditioned for that type of riding, and the heat was unbelievable. You're not going to make it. It was very unfortunate for me today, but that's okay.
I'm here with Deborah DeWolf. She actually just won the ride today. It was a 25-mile limited distance ride, and I'm just meeting her today. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So can you tell me a little bit about endurance?
It's really fun.
It's really fun.
It's really fun. You get to ride your horse fast down different trails, and you just really bond with your horse. You know, you have to really take care of your horse to go. I usually ride 50 miles, and when you ride 50 miles on a horse, you get to know your horse. You try to, make sure they eat and drink, and you take care of them. You know when you can go fast and when you need to slow down. And Ravians are pretty much the best for the discipline.
But any breed.
Any breed basically can do it. I've seen quarter horses do well. I've seen paints, gated horses, pretty much.
And your horse is a half Arab, half
Arab.
thoroughbred.
That's correct. Anglo-Arab.
And obviously she does well because you guys won the race.
Yeah, she's great. I use her.
3.5 hours. Wow.
That was
Now
at
this-
the Kentucky Horse Park.
And that's where the games are going to
Yes,
be.
it is.
And so they'll run around the same sort
They'll
of
go
course.
fast. Yes, go around. I think that they've rerouted it some, but it's a beautiful rolling hills, and it's just beautiful.
And it's actually on the grounds at the horse park.
Yes,
this isn't
it is.
going to happen anywhere else. It'll happen
No,
right there.
some of it is around fields adjacent to the horse park, like tobacco fields, but it's pretty much right there.
So spectators will be able to show up and
Oh, yeah.
actually see the competitors around the
And,
horse park.
they'll come into the same staging area off of each loop, I'm sure. I
That's
don't know.
it.
When you're out there, you don't think about anything else. It's just like you're in your own world, and all your troubles are just gone because you're just riding your horse and trying to keep your horse set, healthy and keep him in good shape and keep yourself hydrated and as far as, you just don't worry about the rest of the world.
So do you feel that way even in a competition setting?
Yes.
You're still relaxed?
Absolutely.
And even though you're competing and you know you need to finish, you don't feel...
I don't allow myself to feel pressured. I know some people do, but I don't.
It's probably a better way to go.
It's a
because-
much better way, because if you feel pressured, then your horse feels pressured, and then that'll elevate his pulse, and it's key to come into the vet check and your horse's pulse.
Definitely a team effort.
It's
It's
a
not
team.
just trail riding around the fastest.
No, it's a definite team. It's a definite team effort between you and your horse, and you develop a bond. I mean, when you camp with your horse and you're with it all the time, it's a bond. It's great. Everybody should try it.
Well, thank you very much,
Okay.
and congratulations on
Thank
winning the
you.
ride today.
Very good.